The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome as we start today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping that all is well and /cool with you and yours in your little slice of heaven since the last time we had the opportunity to spend a little time with you and yours. We start today's show talking about the aftermath, for lack of a better phrase, and now that I think about it, it might be more appropriate, the adaptation, if you will, of higher education here in Louisiana in the wake of the Pfizer vaccine finally clearing the hurdle of the emergency use authorization. Southern University coming out yesterday, a day after Louisiana State University announced their new protocols. SU, and I'll read just the pertinent parts of the official notification. It reads as follows. As you are aware, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, fully approved the Pfizer vaccine for COVID-19, and it is anticipated that the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines will be approved by the FDA in the near future. Due to these recent changes, the Southern University system will add the COVID-19 vaccine to the list of immunizations required, bold print, for admission to any Southern University system campus. As such, all students will have to show proof of their COVID-19 vaccination prior to the spring 2022 registration period. Students may be eligible to opt out by completing and submitting the necessary forms in the coming days. You will receive instructions on how to submit proof of vaccination or to opt out. Additionally, the statement reads, we are also requiring faculty and staff to show proof of vaccination. Within days, you too will be able to upload correlating documents along with the opportunity to opt out. Details and instructions will be communicated via campus email accounts. It also adds that it is important to note that their campuses, SU's system campuses, will be instituting a required testing program for members of our community who are not vaccinated, choose to opt out, or those who simply do not report their vaccination information. We all pretty much knew, that have been keeping abreast of these latest developments, that higher ed was probably going to be one of the first group of institutions that would mandate either vaccinations or testing. Personally, conventional wisdom would say to me that with the transmissibility of the Delta variant, and God knows what other variants are going to pop up as time goes by, that testing would be something that would be all-encompassing. But what do I know? I'm just a guy with a modicum of common sense that looks at things for what they are. Meanwhile, right on the heels of Southern University making that announcement, the University of Louisiana system announcing early this week that all students enrolled in its 9 institutions will be required to be vaccinated against COVID-19. The mandate will impact students enrolled at Grambling State University, Louisiana Tech, McNeese State, Nichols State, Northwestern, Southeastern, the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, the University of Louisiana at Monroe, and the University of New Orleans. University of Louisiana at Lafayette President Joseph Savoy says officials anticipate utilizing the same protocols for reporting vaccination status to the university that have been in place now for many years. He went on to explain that this means students will be required to provide proof of COVID-19 vaccination, a physician's certification that the vaccine is medically not advised, or a written dissent. It is yet another cog in the wheel of how we are choosing to deal with this situation. Ultimately, I think when all is said and done, we're going to find out that Americans are more concerned with the preservation of our liberties and freedoms than we are about a virus that has a survivability rate and an impact that many, many millions of Americans feel has not been represented in its truest form. When government tells us that if you don't have existing comorbidities, and unless you are in the upper echelon of life, extreme senior citizens, if you contract it, you have a 97, 98, 99% or greater probability of survival. Not to mention when the same government and their experts tell us the vast majority of us that contract it won't ever know we had it. And then to mandate that every single person line up willingly and allow the government to force something into their bodies that none of us know the long-term effects are as of yet, millions of Americans are going to rebel. You don't have to be Patrick Henry to figure this one out. You don't have to have someone making the stand of give me liberty or give me death to figure this out. It is painful to watch my fellow Americans willingly give up freedoms and liberties for something that at the end of the day pretty much has been a tool by the media and many others to scare us into submission. Of course, now it is not the first time that we've seen individuals with power use fear as a means of getting what they want as far as steering the American public to do certain things. You know, as time goes by, the wisdom of the founding fathers becomes more and more apparent with every passing day. The old adage, those willing to give up freedom, well, you know, the thing, I'm sorry, Marty, I should have given you the heads up on that. Those willing to sacrifice security for freedom deserve neither. You deserve neither. And listen, I get it. I understand. Many people, with the incessant drumbeat of the media, many people have been scared to the point where rational thought is no longer a part of the process. Fortunately, there are millions upon millions upon millions of my fellow Americans that don't fall into that category. It is, as my dear friend Marty is fond of saying, it's yet another birthing pain that we are experiencing in this country. It is approaching a crossroads, if I could be so bold as to look into the future. Relatively speaking, in the grand scheme of world history, our republic is still in its infancy. And we're at a crossroads at this point, America. If we arrive at a point in our infancy where government is allowed to not just force things upon us, but force things in us, our republic doesn't stand a chance. The founding fathers knew what tyranny looked like. They knew what oppression and overreaching government looks like and what it can do. And that is why they made it a point to limit what the federal government can and cannot do and empower the states. Lest we forget, and many of you, I get it, many of you grew up, were educated, indoctrinated into thinking that America is all about the federal government. But at the end of the day, the United States of America is what this country is supposed to be all about. Now, forget about the united part, unless you want to, pick one side or the other of the political aisle, but that's irrelevant. At the end of the day, the power should rest with the individual states and the individual citizens. My, how far we've strayed, huh? Speaking of, let me get this first break of the hour out of the way. The debacle continues. What is arguably the most horrific handling of a foreign policy event in our nation's history continues to get uglier and uglier and uglier. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. First break. We'll talk more when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owe owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, part of the experience of life should be, and I stress should be, that as we get older as individuals, we acquire more knowledge, but more important, we acquire wisdom. You do understand that there is a very stark difference between the two. I think back to a saying that my late father used to have that said, "There's nothing worse than an educated fool." You can be one of these folks with all these letters behind your name, every alphabet, every letter in the alphabet, but without common sense and without wisdom, you're just an educated fool. Sadly, we now find ourselves at a place in our country's history where individuals in charge of agencies all across the length and breadth of this grand republic of ours fall into that category. The situation in Afghanistan continues on its downward trajectory. I will give credit to two individuals, and the old adage for this is politics makes for strange bedfellows. In the most unlikely circumstances, you find individuals on differing sides of the political aisle will come together to attempt to right a wrong, or at least, the very least, inform the American public about what is actually going on when we can't get straight answers and adequate information from those in charge. United States Congresspersons Seth Moulton, Democrat from Massachusetts, and Peter Meyer, Republican from Michigan, made a secret and unannounced visit to Afghanistan this week. Their mission was to talk to people on the ground, military personnel, evacuees, those in charge, and find out what is actually going on. I mean, what's the old adage? Get it straight from the horse's mouth. If you really want to know what's going on, talk to the folks that are there. Because we obviously can't talk to our president about it because he's the PSA in chief now. He comes, reads a statement, turns his back, and walks off, as he did yesterday again. But I digress. These two congresspersons, after conducting their own fact-finding mission, saying that, quote, as members of Congress, we have a duty to provide oversight on the executive branch. Correct. That is your job. And obviously, the executive branch, the White House, isn't doing their job, so somebody has to find out what the hell is going on. The two congresspersons, after this surprise visit, both Democrat and Republican, are of the opinion there is no way on God's green earth we will be able to get all of our people out by the August 31st deadline. As a matter of fact, they go on to say we probably can't get them all out by September 11th. And yet, Jen Psaki, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, they'll all tell us, well, everything's going well. It's, we're on target. It looks bad right now, but it's going to be all right. So is that why the leader of the free world refuses to take questions from the media about what's going on? They also, in making this surprise visit to two congresspersons, as you might imagine, caught flack from some at the Pentagon saying, oh, this was a publicity stunt, and you're being reckless, and you're taking up seats. These are two seats we could have used to evacuate Americans. Well, on any given day, that might be true. But considering of the 58,700 people evacuated so far, considering only 4,000 were Americans, I think they could make room on a flight for two more. Just saying. But see, that's what happens when, another old adage, the mice will play when the cat's away. When there's no one there that will give the American public a straight answer, when someone does pop up to say, okay, you're not going to give me an answer, I'll find out for myself. Well, we all know how that turns out. I mean, that's how the left, the liberals / Democrats / progressives, that's how they operate. When you decide, you know what, I'm not getting any straight answers here, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go find out for myself. Well, now they want to cancel you. See, we can't have dissenting opinions. And for the life of me, in a country that was founded upon freedoms and liberties, particularly of speech and thought, how we have so easily fallen into this crap trap where we are willing to silence dissenting opinions. Y'all do realize at some point your opinion is going to be the one that is dissenting. And what happens then when they want to shut you up? We still, at this juncture, don't have an adequate, concrete count on how many of our folks are still there. We still don't have anywhere near adequate answers on how we are going to ensure that this doesn't turn into the greatest debacle in the history of this nation. And still, the guy you elected, because God knows I didn't vote for him, I got better sense than that. Still, this guy will come before the American people, read a teleprompter, and then turn his back and walk away. Won't answer a single freaking question. Now, some of y'all, and I get it, I understand, some of y'all were indoctrinated in the school system. So bless your little old hearts, you don't know any better. But for those of us real Americans, we understand this is not how we roll. You are the leader of this country / the free world. And when we arrive at a point where something as monumental as this, thousands of our fellow Americans, yes, Jen, I'm going to say it, stranded. Billions, not millions, billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars of military equipment unaccounted for and in the hands of the enemy. And the president will not take questions from the media. It's time for you to go, bruh. It's time for you to go. When we arrive at a point where thousands of our fellow Americans' lives may be in danger, and you trot your happy butt out there, read a teleprompter, turn your back again, and walk out the room. You know, what's really going to be funny, if it should ever happen, which I wouldn't place a wager on this, but I would love to be in the room when President Biden steps up to the microphone, gives the update on whatever the topic happens to be, and then says to the media, okay, I'll take questions. They're going to have to call in the DC EMS because half the people in the room are going to pass out. Wait, you're going to take questions? Now, ironically, just yesterday, I told you about this jackleg communications director for the White House that said, quote, well, the president never shies away from taking questions. The very next time, what does he do? Reads a statement, turns his back, walks out the room. And this, my fellow Americans, is the most transparent administration in history. Now, for those of you that went to the store and bought that bag of crap, go back and look in the bag, in the bottom of the bag, and see what's actually in there. The most transparent administration in history. How's that working out for you? Better yet, ask our fellow Americans stranded in Afghanistan how it's working out for them. Bottom of the hour break. Got to talk more about this, but we need to get this out of the way. We'll come back and resume our conversation right here on the Clarence Bugg Show. Sit tight.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. We, in the last segment, we're talking about a surprise visit made to Afghanistan by two members of the United States Congress. Seth Moulton, Democrat from Massachusetts, and Peter Meyer, Republican from Michigan. After returning from this surprise visit, they issued a statement that reads in part, "We came into this visit wanting, like most veterans, to push the president to extend the August 31st deadline. After talking with commanders on the ground and seeing the situation here, it is obvious that because we started the evacuation so late, that no matter what we do, we won't get everyone out on time. even by September 11th. Sadly and frustratingly, getting our people out depends on maintaining the current bizarre relationship with the Taliban. In the coming days, we will have more to share with our colleagues and the American people about what we learned. I don't know how many people watching right now are old enough to remember the Iran hostage crisis and the FUBAR of then President Jimmy Carter's administration. I am sorely afraid that the Biden administration is going to lead us down a road to a hostage crisis that in hindsight is going to make the Iran hostage crisis look like a weekend in Disneyland. We are talking potentially hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands, of our fellow Americans, not to mention tens of thousands of people that worked with us, being left in a country with a bunch of folks in charge that have no regard for human life, human rights, or anything else. It is a level of incompetency that is staggering. Now, incompetency is one thing. Cowardice is something else entirely. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would live to see a day where my fellow Americans would be left pretty much to their own devices in a situation like this. We are blessed to have the finest fighting force on the planet at our disposal. And this is how we choose, this is how, let me back that bus up. This is how the current administration in charge chooses to do it. To show you the level of incompetence we're talking about here, after surging troops to Afghanistan when it became painfully obvious this place is collapsing, you do realize that after rushing over additional troops, the Biden administration is still continuing the drawdown of existing troops. It's as though every single day they wake up with the mission parameter involving, let's see how much worse we can make this. You know, as an Army brat growing up in a military household, my affinity for the military goes above and beyond, obviously, those who have not lived that existence. I mean, for God's sake, my middle name is Ramel. I was named my middle name after the Desert Fox, Erwin Rommel. When an American military person sees fit to honor the enemy's general with one of his kids' names, that tells you the respect for the military and particularly for tactical genius that runs in my family. The opposite side of that coin, having an appreciation for tactical genius, is having utter disdain for tactical buffoons. And there's no other way to categorize what we are doing in Afghanistan other than pure buffoonery. It says something. What's the old adage? And you know your buddy Clarence, I love my adages. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. Those of us that lived through the Jimmy Carter presidency and the resulting hostage crisis, we're all too familiar with it. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out how these yahoos in charge refuse to learn from history. Those of us that were around for that debacle, we full well remember what happened the very first day a new president who projected power, what those holding the American hostages did. Okay, y'all can get them. We sent them out now. Okay, this is over. For all you snowflake, I wish this was not a family show. All you prima donnas out there that don't understand what the real freaking world is like. Folks like the Taliban, the only way you negotiate with them is at the point of a gun. That's the only way. It is the only thing they understand. It is the only thing they respect. End of discussion. That's the only thing. The only way you get results with these folks. And for whatever reason, the Biden White House is, well, we sent them a strongly worded letter. We sent them a strongly worded letter that y'all need to let our people get out of there. You know, you don't have to look very far outside the borders of our country to find other world leaders that are laughing at us. Now listen, I get it. I understand. There are a lot of people watching right now. You don't really care what other people think about us. I get it. And as an American, that is your right. It's your right not to care what others think. The problem with that philosophy, my friends, is that at some point, you're going to need these other folks. At some point, our citizenry will be involved in a situation where they need military assistance from other folks. And at some point, as the world continues to turn, there will be countries that will be left with a decision. Do we trust America? Do we want them as an ally? And if stuff goes south, can we depend on them? As sad a commentary as it is to make, right now, many folks are doubting it. There was a time on this planet, y'all, where if nothing else, our allies could count on us. They could depend on us. And if something went south, they knew, if nothing else, I can depend on America to do right by people. And yet, here we are on the verge of what could be not only another hostage crisis, but arguably the greatest / worst in the history of our nation. Is this what you voted for? Of course, now, y'all were so busy, many of you, y'all were so busy cheering on the mainstream media trying to get rid of Orange Man. Orange Man bad. Many of y'all let the media and the left gin up a hatred within you that could not be justified by any form or fashion whatsoever. Many of you bought into the narrative. And now, bless your little ignorant heart, you're entertaining buyer's remorse. And while I hate to be the harbinger of bad news, we got 3 years and change more of this crap still to come. Inflation, get used to it. Crime, get used to it. COVID, get used to it. Folks coming across the border illegally by the millions, get used to it. Potential hostage crisis of unimaginable proportions, get used to it. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Democrats. Appreciate you. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back for the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. You know, sometimes you just have to laugh to keep from crying. The execution, or the obvious lack thereof, of our withdrawal from Afghanistan raises so many troubling questions. It is, I guess, compounded by the domestic problems that we face here at home. For many of us, yeah, we're concerned about what's happening around the world, but our interest is more focused on what's happening here at home. Doesn't leave much wiggle room, does it? I mean, in between the ever-expanding crime problem, added to that inflation about to just run amok, COVID variants popping up all over the place, the border, even though we have a border czar, is getting worse by the minute. And now this. It is a situation, Afghanistan, as unfortunate as it is, it has done one thing for the American people, and particularly those on the left. It is a situation that is impossible for the media to ignore, the mainstream media. It was one thing for ABC and CBS, NBC, CNN LOL, MSLSD. It's one thing for them to ignore Joe Biden never setting foot out of his basement to campaign to be the leader of the free world. It's one thing for all of these outlets that I just named, the mainstream media, to hide from you what was actually happening in this country with Black Lives Matter riots and Antifa riots. It was one thing for the mainstream media to hide from you the hundreds of thousands of folks coming here illegally, not to mention not tested, not vaccinated. They could hide that from you. But this is the international stage, y'all. Now they are forced to deal with reality. And shockingly to them, oh my God, we didn't realize stuff could be this bad. Well, had you not been so busy at home trying to cover for people and lie to the American people about your agenda, you might have known what was actually going on. But again, that's how these folks operate. All of a sudden now, and do you notice what's conspicuously absent here? For how long and how incessantly did the left, Democrats / liberals / progressives, AOC and the squad, the hashtag #MeToo movement, how incessantly did they browbeat America, and the whole world for that matter, about rights for women and how they should be treated? Now, here's an opportunity for what is arguably one of the biggest violators of basic rights for women, the Taliban, and you don't hear a peep out of these folks about ensuring the basic human rights of women and other females in Afghanistan. Funny how all of a sudden, all of that just poof, like magic, just disappeared. If it were America doing anything near that, oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, Cori Bush, AOC, the rest of the squad, Omar, all of them would have been raised in holy hell. But now, they are so quiet, as the old folk used to say, you can hear a rat pee on cotton. Not a peep. But they are so concerned. You see how they play you? Well, I almost said us. I'm long past that point now, son. I'm long past that now. You don't hear a mumbling word out of these folks. But don't worry, don't worry. All it takes is one little thing that can be misconstrued to demonize America, and they'll pop up again. It won't be long. Just keep breathing. Just keep on breathing. And AOC, Cori, Elon, Omar, all the rest of them, they're going to pop back up like whack-a-mole. You ever played whack-a-mole at the state fair? You know, we got the board with the holes in it, and the mole pops up, and you whack that sucker, and he pops up someplace else. It won't be long. They'll be popping up again to tell us how evil America is. But an opportunity on an international stage, and you don't hear a freaking word. That, my friends, is supposed to tell you everything you need to know. Now, there is one other thing you need to know before I depart. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue. I understand, and I apologize on my behalf and hers, that there was an adoring couple that came yesterday, older gentleman and his wife. And they told Amy, the server here, that they came, Clarence is the reason we came by to check y'all out. Bless you, my friends. Love you for that. If you are looking for some good food served by some good people in a good atmosphere, real easy, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. If you've not been as of yet, listen, I ain't mad at you. You have a right as an American to live a deprived life. If that's what you want to do, have at it. I ain't mad at you. But you know your buddy Clarence is not going to purposely steer you wrong. Good food, good people, good atmosphere. Come on by. They'd love to see you. And oh, by the way, you never know who you're going to meet when you come by Bayou Smokehouse. As a matter of fact, my dear friend KG, as I affectionately referred to him as Monsieur Gallagher, is in the house. He's here with Uncle Roy, everybody's favorite crazy uncle. They'll be recording Uncle Roy's Fletch Nation podcast today. And the little emperor will return and grace us tomorrow with his presence, Bill Profita. You never know, like I said, who you're going to meet when you walk into Bayou Smokehouse. My time's up, y'all, and I got to go. But this day, with Afghanistan and everything else, maybe more so than any other day, I give it to you. You know what, you're right. America, we're not perfect. But for my money, it's still the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Best news you're going to hear all day. Ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.